watching EUCMedia， 这里是 EUCMedia 网络电视，这里是欧华传媒网络电视，这里是 EUCMedia 微博、TV、欧洲新闻电视报道，河南新闻现场直播，欧洲社会最新动态。
Coming up, the best coverage of your favorite
report.
Thanks for watching
EUCMedia.
Thanks for joining us. Have a good evening.
Has absolutely no effect on anybody who's open.
We must sequence all of life to fully understand life's origins, evolution, and the potential future of life. And we need to be able to apply artificial intelligence and machine learning to those genomes to understand how those genomes function.
It took a long time in evolution, before we had the eye that I can see you. It will take some time before we can integrate these tiny machines, different components, etc. We have to learn how they work together to do a more complex function.
国际科技合作是大趋势。
在当前形势下，各国科学家尤其需要开展新冠肺炎药物、疫苗、检测领域的研究合作，聚焦气候变化、人类健康等共性问题，让科技创新更好造福人类。中国将实施更加开放包容、互惠共享的国际科技合作战略，愿同全球顶尖科学家、国际科技组织一道，加强重大科学问题研究，加大共性科学技术破解，加深重点战略科学项目协作。希望各位科学家积极交流思想，推进合作，共同推进世界科学事业。
And scientists right now need to make a statement and say, science has no boundaries. We all need to be working together. Science is international. I became a scientist because we cooperate around the world. And so their message, which I very much agree with, is that we need to make sure science stays international, basic science, that we share observations. The pandemic, COVID-19, has been a wonderful example of that. We should be working together to battle this virus, not each country by itself.
The current crisis and to future pandemics, the response to the coronavirus and COVID-19 disease.
The public may not be aware. In fact, scientists have always interacted with one another as friends on an equal basis, regardless of nationality, regardless of ideology or any other consideration. Science is truly international.
People are exactly the same, and right young and to be old. For this reason, only a period of less than 10 years are facing it. Perhaps we'll just go in this way.
Well, I think you can think about research as traveling in an area that you don't know. Maybe like an ant looking for food. So an ant comes out of his hole and is trying to find food. But he doesn't have an iPhone that tells him where the food is. He can't smell the food from very far. So he keeps on going into different places. And he tries here, he tries there, and often he's wrong. But in science, you are trying to find new things. You're traveling to unknown countries in the mind. And when you do new things, you have to be wrong. If every time an ant didn't find food, he was killed, the ants would not survive. Life is full of looking for things. Now, when you find the thing, you have to have the instinct to say, this is good food, this is not ant poison. But I think you have to keep on looking. Now, what I actually said in that thing was that it isn't just a scientist, I would say for everybody, but a good scientist is wrong 90% of the time. But a great scientist is wrong 99% of the time because he's doing more difficult problems. You know, if every day I'm right, then I'm doing too easy a problem. And I think this is not just true for me, it's true of a camera person, it's true of somebody who writes a script. You have to try sometimes makeup, try sometimes something new. Because if you always do something old, you will never learn.
In scientific research, breakthroughs sometimes
10 hours a day for 260 days. Great details. Because when something... So the computers would fill this room. It depends if I was lucky. So let me say, computers were very rare. There weren't many computers in the world. And, you know, an average person, I mean, what's wonderful now is that any child who can access a smartphone, even a smartphone that's 10 years old, is more powerful than the biggest computer in the world. It probably occupied, it was a small computer, it occupied the stage. But in order to use very big computers, I needed to go into science. So sometimes I think that it was my love of computers that made me become a scientist.
我们有了原创的东西，它的发展的潜力就是无穷的。而且我们有了原创的东西，我们就不会被人家卡脖子，这个是非常之关键。那我们国家就真正的就强大起来。所以我们对于基础学科、基础科学的研究，我们会更加的一些去强调，去推进。
走过这条路的那些国家、那些科学家，到那个时候估计会有改得不够好，那么大家现在可能产生了这个，而且不是落后于。希望加大对基础科学的支持，包括各个国家加强这个基础科学的研究，因为这个基础科学关系到全人类的共同命运，这个是大家共同的发展方向，所以这个方向应该坚持下去。我们也希望能够得到各国政府和这个社会公众的这个大力支持。
I think it's very important that the world.
我觉得这次大会能够以这种方式举行，一方面说明我们中国依靠科学，首先走出了这个疫情，我们也展示了在困难的情况下，我们也可以用一种创新的方式来继续我们的国际合作。